Okay. Hi, Dr. Jerome. Yeah. Thanks for coming for this interview with you. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
thankful, okay, for the recent appointment as the ambassador of International Men's Day for Singapore. Yeah. And maybe you would like to share with us about yourself first, a short introduction.
Yeah, I am a senior lecturer in the Department of History at the University of the West Indies in Trinidad and Tobago, and I've been teaching there for almost 20 years, teaching
Mm.
history.
Wow, okay. Okay. So just curious, what inspired you to start this International Men's Day? Yeah.
When I was younger, I saw a lot of negative images of men being portrayed as criminals,
Mm.
kidnappers, rapists, anything negative, evil, men were portrayed as. And I
Mm.
felt this was a stigma, a
Mm.
stereotype, and I wanted to change the narrative. I wanted to highlight positive men, good
Mm.
men. And I felt, that a lot of good men were not being promoted. And I started to look around for role models, and I realized that one of the easiest role models is right within the family. And I chose November the 19th because it's my dad's birthday. That's one of the reasons I chose the 19th of November.
Mm.
So I wanted people to see they could choose their father, grandfather, uncle, big brother as a role model.
Mm, wow. Okay. Okay. The dates, that's why the reason of the dates is your father's birthday. Is it? Wow.
Correct.
Okay. I see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And it has been existing for how many years since you founded the,
Since 1999,
wow, 1999.
1999,
So
so
it's about
almost
27
20
years.
years.
Wow.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, because a lot of people, not just in Singapore, I think quite a number of countries in Asia do not know about this International Men's Day. Yeah, maybe would you like to explain what is this International Men's Day? Yeah, what is this IMD? Oh, anything that you want to share about?
Yeah, I think that one of the problems I encounter in Asia is the language barrier.
Mm,
Because as you know, you have countries with China, South Korea, Taiwan,
mm,
Pakistan, and India with all the various dialects. So um, it's often difficult to overcome the language barrier, but it has been a success story because a lot of countries are starting to see the need for men to be more caring, honest, protective of the home, and peaceful because we have, you know, all these incidents of conflict and war right now in 2026, so that they are starting to see the need within the last 10 years in
mm.
Asia of the need for men to promote peace, men to be more peaceful.
Ah, okay, okay. So, from the 1999 and now 2026, what are some of the difference do you notice about the men of back then and the now, the modern man? Any different or any
I have
similarity?
I have seen changes. I have seen where um, in some countries like Trinidad, they have not really taken international men's day seriously, and crime has increased.
Oh,
Murders have increased.
okay.
In some countries like European countries like London,
Mm,
um, in the UK, in Italy, in France, I have seen changes where um, men are starting to take up their roles and responsibilities.
mm,
Men are beginning to also question gender relations.
mm,
They are beginning to also be a little more vocal in 2026 about issues like court cases where they lose custody of children, they lose custody of a
mm,
child in a divorce case
mm,
or separation. So I'm seeing where men are becoming a bit more vocal now. They were
mm,
not so in 1999. They allowed the court system to prevail. But
mm,
I'm seeing now where they're starting to understand now the institutional you know, problems that they encounter. The court system
Mm,
is unfair. They're starting to see biased institutions, right?
mm,
And men now in the 21st century, I
mm,
find they have
mm,
awakened and realized that there's also an education inequality where more women are breaking the glass ceiling, getting their university degrees, and the men are,
mm.
lagging behind. It's underachievement of the men.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And you just now you mentioned about the men's getting violence. I mean, yeah, back then, yeah. And of course, I mean, it's across all countries or most of country that you see, observe.
Yeah, in I've seen it in a few Caribbean countries like
Mm,
Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, but I'm
mm,
starting to see, that there are countries where sometimes because of culture, sometimes because of religion,
mm,
there is a lot of there's still the patriarchy, there's still the violence, there's
mm,
still, conflict occurring, hostility. So it's
mm,
sometimes difficult to penetrate into these
mm,
countries, but I'm trying to get the message across.
mm,
But I feel that, we talk about violence, but I'm seeing also there's a high level of suicides among men that International Men's Day has not reduced. Every
mm.
year, more than 500,000 men commit suicide. More than 500,000 men commit suicide.
Wow. Wow. Okay. That's a high figure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so I,
Mm,
I feel like I have not done enough. I could say that, Men's Day is more than 20 years old or 27 years in existence or longer.
mm,
But I feel that I'm not really seeing the results when it comes to issue like,
mm.
suicides.
Yeah, I mean, you need to, I mean, it's not just you and me alone. That you need to have like more kind of involve different countries' leaders, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
organizations. Yeah, that's not one. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, not easy.
yeah.
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 And I mean, from your own experience, right? What do you think
Mhm.
that men really need most of right now?
I think men need to focus on their health,
Mm.
their physical health. Look at diabetes, mental
Uh,
health issues, stress, cholesterol. A lot
mm,
of men are not taking care of themselves. They are aware
mm,
of prostate cancer, but they're not going to get it checked. They are
mm,
aware of eating properly, but
mm,
often they skip meals or they eat unhealthy. So I think men have to focus on their physical health, exercise more,
mm,
rest, sleep, and they also have to, focus on their emotional health, their
mm,
spiritual health. So I think
mm,
it's important that men realize that they need not just to get a good job or make plenty money or live in a nice house, but they also have to
mm.
focus on their health, creating that holistic man, that man that is fully functional and healthy.
So they need also a lot of this self-care, lah. Oh, not caring about others, but self-care. Yeah. At least,
Self-care, but not being egoistical, not being egoistical.
okay. Yeah. So normally when I work with men, right, normally I'll ask them, hey, do you love yourself? I mean, love myself? What do you mean by love myself? Yeah. Okay. Okay. What's one thing that often kind of misunderstand about men today? What do you think?
I think that when men get angry
Mm,
or men lose their temper,
mm,
a lot of people brand it as toxic masculinity.
okay.
Um, I get angry too. You
Yeah.
get angry, and
Yes.
anger is a human emotion, just like
Mm,
happiness, pain, sadness. And I think when we get angry, me or you or any man or boy,
mm,
others, the society needs to find out what is the root cause of that anger? What is the origin of the anger? How could
mm,
society prevent that anger? Is
mm,
it a mental health issue that needs um, a psychologist, a counselor, a social
mm,
worker? Is it because of trauma, early
mm,
childhood trauma? Is it because of, maybe a toxic workplace? Is there a need for a change in our job situation? So I think we need to, I think that's one of the major problems where society misunderstands
Mm,
anger, and we just use that stamp, toxic masculinity. That's a toxic man,
yeah.
toxic behavior. And we need to realize that there's a broad spectrum of human behavior.
Yeah. And they will go to the court and apply personal protection order. And the woman charter, or I mean, slam down the guys.